Hello, everyone. Welcome. Thank you for joining us this afternoon to learn more about how you can get started on YouTube. So today's program is a little different in this series. The first two programs that I've done in this Getting Started on YouTube series involve some design work, right? So those are like the little details that you need to pull together your whole YouTube channel and to add at the beginning and at the ending of your video. So this is actually the easy part, right? But it's the most intimidating part, right? So we're just gonna give you some tips that'll help you get started with what you have. So again, welcome. Thank you for joining us. So my name is Saressa Newsom, and I feel like I've done this introduction 1,000 times already. So hopefully you all know me by now, but I'm the creative in residence here at the Ives Main Library in New Haven, Connecticut. I'm also a business owner, entrepreneur, owner of Endangered Stitches, where I offer knitting, sewing, and crochet classes. Okay. I also have office hours at the main library on Mondays and Thursdays. On Mondays, my office hours are from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. and Thursdays, 12 to 2 p.m. So you can definitely register for office hours. They're 30-minute sessions with me. If you want to come into the library, we also do them over Zoom. So I am available for that.
And the link is in the chat or the comments if you're watching on Facebook.
Awesome. Thanks, Jennifer. So the link is in the chat that you can reserve your office hours with me. So the agenda, we're just going to go quickly over the equipment you'll need to record a video for YouTube. We're going to go over the setup, how you're going to use that equipment to get the best video. And then we're going to talk briefly about your recording. So your equipment, you are going to need a camera. You're going to need a camera that has video capabilities. So I have a picture here of a smartphone. So a lot of us are walking around with these mini computers in our pockets that we spent more than $1 on, right? So they have some capabilities that a lot of us may not use. So you can use what you have. And as you get comfortable, you can definitely upgrade to a professional camera, but you can definitely start with your smartphone. You will also need a tripod. The tripod steadies your camera because if you're holding your camera in your hand and you're moving, your video can be blurry and it's not the best quality. So the tripod will also help you get different views, different angles, right? Also lighting, very important. One second. Okay, so lighting is extremely important. Natural lighting is always the best, but sometimes we have to record in the nighttime where there's no sun out, or sometimes we have to record on a sunny, a gloomy day where there's no sun. So in that case, you can get an inexpensive ring light, or you can get creative and use a lamp or something that you have in your home. Yeah, but natural light is always the best. Okay, so with your settings for your phone, some people don't realize that there are different settings for your video where you can get best quality, high quality videos. And I'm just going to show you a brief video. If you have an iPhone, that's what I have. You have the same settings in other devices as well. is just maybe like a different way to access it. It would be in your settings, but this video is for iPhones. So you would go into your settings and you would go down to your camera. So when you get down to your camera, you will see all of the options for your camera, for video and for photo. So right now I have 1080p HD 60 FPS. That's how I do my videos. That's great quality. FPS is frames per second. Okay, and that gives you a very sharp image. Some people choose to do 30 frames per second because it's more natural to the eye. So it's completely up to you, but I just wanted you to know that those settings are available to you. So sometimes your video may come out a little grainy, and that could be why, because of your settings. So just go in there and kind of play around and do a little bit of research to see what works best for you. And that is there. Next, there is the grid. So depending on what you're shooting, if you're shooting yourself, there's a rule of thirds. And I think it was in October when I did a product photography program, and the same thing applies. It makes it a little bit more interesting when you are in the corners of this grid, and you can access this grid on your phone. It'll come up automatically when you're shooting your video, and it'll help you lay out your shot instead of just being right in the center. Sometimes that's not the most appealing view for your video. So I'm going to show you another brief video that will show you how to put the grid onto your camera. So you will go back into your settings, go to your camera, and you will just scroll down to grid, and there's a toggle button that you'll just turn on, and then it'll show you the view that you will get in your camera once you turn that grid on. So there it is under composition. So when you go back into your camera, you will now have a grid right here. So to get the best, this is a vertical view. Obviously, when you're recording for YouTube, you should record horizontal, right? Because that's how the screen is, and that's how the viewers are going to see you. So imagine this is turned sideways. You want to place yourself in one of these corners. So you see where the lines intersect? Those are called the thirds. So you want to go into one of these thirds, rule of thirds, and place yourself there. Like, so where I am right now in the camera would be kind of intersecting where those grids, those lines cross. So you can actually use that as a tool as well. So when you are setting up for your first video, or maybe not your first, because I think your first video should be a test, right? Because we are so wound up and intimidated, you know, this is going to be out there for the world to see. When in actuality, when you first start your YouTube channel and you post a video, not many people are going to see it. You have to actually drive people to your channel. And once you continue to consistently post video, that's when the algorithm kicks in and they'll push your videos out and more people will access it. But when you're just posting, not many people will see it unless you send them the link and tell them that your video is there. So it's okay to just do a test post, and you can always delete it. Okay. And your first video may be, depending on what your YouTube channel is made for, your first video should probably be an introduction to yourself, right? So we already did your banner art. We already did the intro and the intro and the outro for your videos. So your first video should be an introduction. Hi, I'm Sarasa. This is my channel. This is what you're going to expect. I'm posting. So it's pretty much the same thing that you placed in your banner art, but just to put a person to it, right? So that should be your first video. And when you're preparing for your video, you should create a script, right? So you want to have an idea of what you're going to say. So you're not saying a lot of ums, probably what I'm doing all the time. You're not going to say a lot of ums and fillers, and, you know, you're going to know exactly what you're going to say. But a good thing is that when you're doing these videos, you're also going to have editing, but it makes it much easier when you have your talking points before you record. And some people there are apps where you can have a teleprompter that helps. But if you're going all natural, you want it to be a natural flow so you don't look like a robot, you would create a sheet with your talking points, right? So let's say, you know, I'm doing a makeup tutorial and I want to show you how to do your eyebrows, right? So I want to make sure that I'm touching certain points, but I'm not going to script out every single word that I'm going to say, because that does not sound natural. But you want to make sure you don't miss anything. So write out your talking points to prepare. Okay, so I kind of touched on this a little bit already, but when you're recording, you want to record in chunks, right? Because when you're editing, it's easier to put the pieces together than recording one long video and then breaking it up, you know, trying to see where you may have had mistakes and breaking it up. So if you're recording, you have your points, you can have maybe, you know, 2 or 3 lines, chunk it up. You record that 2 or 3 lines, and then you would continue to look at the camera, pause, breathe for like 2 or 3 seconds, and then you continue on to the next line. So this will make it very easy when you're editing. Okay, so that's just a little bit of tips. And it depends, because as you continue to create more content and make videos, you'll come up with your own processes. You'll come up with something that works better for you. But I think this is a great way for beginners to record their videos. Also, you want to make sure that you're recording with your back rear facing camera. Okay. You can record with the selfie side, with this side facing you. You can record with, well, I should put it this way. You can record with the front facing camera, but what happens is, so right now I'm here on Zoom, and you can probably see that I'm not looking at you. I'm looking at myself in the Zoom gallery. Okay. So when you're on YouTube recording your video, you want to be looking in the eye of your viewer. You don't want to be looking off at the video. And that's what happens when you record with your front facing camera. Okay. And also the quality of your rear facing camera is much better. So that's the advantage of having your tripod. You can set your camera up on your tripod. You can do some test shots to make sure that your background is good and that you're placed perfectly in the video, and just press play and let the video go. Because if you are recording in chunks, it also helps that you get, some tripods come with a little remote flicker, so you can pause and record, with your remote without having to get up. Because if you're working in chunks, it's better for you to stay in that position, because when you're editing, it will look weird if 1 minute you're here and then you got up to stop the camera and to press play again. But when you sat back down, you kind of moved a little bit more over. So when you're editing, it's going to look weird. You're going to have one shot with you here and then the next. So it's great if you can just do everything in one setting. Okay. And also as I mentioned, you want to record horizontally. Unless there's some reason you need to record vertically, but that's how the screen is displayed. Also, you want to be very efficient. So it totally depends on what you want to, what your channel is for. As I mentioned before, like if you're doing gaming videos, those videos sometimes go on forever and ever, right? And that's what the audience is expecting. But generally, you can only keep someone's attention for a certain amount of time. So a video between 10 to 15 minutes are ideal. You know, sometimes if you get it between 7 to 10 minutes, that works, because you know everyone is on the go and they're watching YouTube, you know, before they get to bed or you know whatever. So you have to keep that in mind. So just be efficient. And like I said, it also depends on your industry, on your audience. Okay, so it's not, you don't have to stick to this time, but that's what generally works. Okay, so we are just whizzing through. There are some apps and software that would help you in your recording in your video. I listed just 3. Bandicam is a popular one for if you want to do kind of like what we have set up here. So I have my screen share on Zoom, and then you also see my image in the corner. So if I was doing a gaming video, Bandicam helps the viewer to see the video and to also see the presenter in the video. Vimeo, you can also do a screen recording while you're presenting. So if you have a presentation that you're presenting, you know, you're doing like tutorials or presentations similar to this, you can do that on Vimeo. Also, you can use Zoom. Zoom, what I'm doing right now is being recorded and it's going to be posted most likely on YouTube or Facebook. So you can record, sit here with no audience in your Zoom account, press record, and just go at it. And you can use that as a YouTube video. Okay. And you have the opportunity to edit. You can add words, you can add voiceovers. But we'll talk about editing in the next one. So this is the recording is the easy part. And I'll repeat, it's the easy part. You just have to be smart when you're recording. When I did my first YouTube video, it was a stitch tutorial for, I think, 6 or 7 hand stitches. And at that time, I was just learning on the go. I had no idea how to edit video. I didn't have the best computer even, right? So I was just going, and the video is actually 36 minutes long. I would never do that again. Like I would break up each stitch in separate video, you know, because you just lose the viewer with those type of long videos. And hand sewing, it's but so exciting, right? Vidyard is a new software also that I came in contact with. It's similar to Vimeo. What I like about it is that it's very user friendly. Like you can record very seamlessly. You can do the screen recording and things like that. And you can use it not only for YouTube, but a lot of other things. So yeah, so for overhead, because I specifically do a lot of overhead videos because I teach knitting, sewing, and crocheting. So I do a lot of things with my hands. So I had to invest in a camera that has an overhead view. Okay. And that was an investment. Over the pandemic, a lot of people went virtual, right? There was no real in-person social activities or teaching. So I had to do that for myself. But before I got that camera, I got creative and made a light box, created a cover with a little hole in it. And I put my cell phone camera right in there to go through the hole. And I did my stitch work right under there, and no one could tell the difference. So you can be creative, work with what you have, okay? Test, test, test. So use this opportunity with whatever you learn to test, record, take a breath, and go again. And try to upload to YouTube. YouTube used to have an option where, and I think it does for some accounts that's more established, where you can actually record directly onto YouTube and upload. So they had an option where you can just press play, record on your webcam, and that's an option as well. If you want to use your webcam, it's not the best quality all the time, but it does the job. And have fun, go for it. It's not rocket science, right? And that's pretty much it. If we have any questions, please let me know, because all of this information is on the web. All of this information is on YouTube. You can find a video with all of these resources and so much more. What I appreciate about these programs that are given at the library is that you have personal contact, right? So you can ask questions, and you can actually, if this is so foreign to you, you need to have someone walk you through each step. I'm here, I'm at the library. You can come in and schedule an appointment with me, and I'm happy to sit down with you and we can get these things done, right? We can record video, we can, we can have fun. To me, all of this is fun. So that's what I love about these programs. You actually have a person, right? So thank you. And I will see you at our next program, hopefully. Yes, Tony T, feel free to unmute yourself if you, okay.
Yeah, hi there. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, I can.
Oh, thank you. The sessions, can you do them virtually, or does it have to be in person?
Yes, we can do virtual.
Fantastic.
Virtual or in person.
Fantastic. So to arrange that, I just need to make contact.
Yes, and the link is in the chat.
Fantastic.
I just put it in again.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you, because I got in late. Brilliant.
No
And
worries.
can I just ask, have you done a Zoom show how to use Zoom effectively session? Or is that something you're going to cover?
So Zoom recording for YouTube? Just in
using,
general?
Yeah, in general.
Okay, that's something you can set up a meeting with me and we can go over.
Oh, wonderful. Yes. Absolutely wonderful. Yes. Thank you so much.
That's fine. Yep, of course. Okay, so we're actually have a program tomorrow, the art wellness workshop with Jane Bichot Semevelos. It's going to be fun. It's at 11 a.m. It's going to involve artwork, some painting. So I hope you all can make it. I also have a program March 10th to sew your own infinity scarf. So that's going to be, we're going to set up our machines, and it's a pretty easy and quick project, but you can pick a very nice scarf and it'll be a great accent piece for the spring. And also we have a program, we'll have in April, another part of the YouTube series. So we're gonna announce that soon. And some other programs, sewing pot holders, I believe. So we're gonna announce that, and I hope to see you all at the other programs. Yes, Tony.
Sorry, what's an infinity scarf, please?
Yeah, so it's a scarf it's a circular scarf that's enclosed. So it's
right, yes.
If there's no ends, it's just circular.
Fantastic. Yes. Thank you.
Yes, and thank you all. Thanks for your comments. I see you all. Thank you. I hope this was helpful. This was a very brief program. But like I said, this is the easy part. Like, we did some design work. I'm not sure if you all saw the program where we went over the banner art and then the intro and the outro. Those are like my favorites because I love designing. So this is definitely the easy part. So I encourage you to record video. And then I think next month we'll go a little bit into editing, because editing is fun, lots of fun. You can go crazy with it. But that's all. If there's no more
Sarasa, I have a
questions.
question.
Yes.
Would you suggest people just starting out watch other YouTubers to see what they like and don't like about how they record?
About how their
videos come out so that they know how to record things.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's something I said in the first one. Like when you're getting into YouTube, there's so much out there. There's so many people doing what you want to do. And of course you will have your own spin, but it's important to see how they're doing, see what they're doing. Like, are they recording with video in their recording? I mean, sorry, with music in their recording? Are they using recording music? Are they doing voiceovers? Are they even showing their face? Because some people don't even show their face. They just show, whatever they're doing, and you hear their voice, but you don't know who it is, right? Some people do split screen. There's so many different options. There's cooking videos, like how are they doing that? And there are specific videos from all these industry professionals that they have tips on how to do these specific videos for these different things. Like I can show you what I use to record my knitting and crocheting and all of those things, what works for me. The beauty industry, that's a whole other thing, because you have to get close up to the eye, watch and see what they're doing, what tips that you can pull from other people. It's a lot out there. Yeah, that's a good question, Jennifer.
And are there any YouTubers you would suggest that you think have good videos or things that would be good samples?
That's a hard one, because it depends, right? It's so many different industries, right? I watch a lot of natural hair videos, right? And my son watches, the kids playing around, open up toys and things like that. So I would not even begin to recommend, because it depends on what your interest is.
Let me just.
Or do you have any favorites?
So I have always loved watching John and Hank Green.
Okay.
So I think their channel is still called Vlog Brothers, but they've been on YouTube for forever.
Mm-hmm.
If you guys know John Green, he is a very well-known young adult author. But he and his brother spent a year only communicating via YouTube videos. As a project, and they do like 3.5-minute videos on random topics. My favorite happens to be how much John hates the penny. So I really like them. In terms of like, I like Super Carlin Brothers does like fandom videos, so Harry Potter, Star Wars, Disney, things like that.
Yeah.
And I like them because they're interesting and things that I enjoy, but those, I think the thing I like about them is that there's not a lot of pausing in their speech. They've done a good job of editing, which you'll talk about at the next one, so that there's not a lot of dead time.
Yep.
And when there is dead time, it's for usually comedy. So.
Yep. So yeah. So it's I haven't heard of those. So
that's okay.
But yeah, there's so much. We have another question, Tony.
Hi there, for the lady that's just spoke, is there any chance you can put the link in the chat, please, of those two people?
Yeah, sure. Let me see if I can find them.
Sound quite inspiring. I like the fact of their very short video. Yeah, so thank you so much.
Yeah, I'll do that right now. I just have to find them.
Oh, thank you.
Vlog Brothers.
Yep, Vlog Brothers.
So yeah, both of the Green brothers, John and Hank Green, are are young adult authors, but they're also hilarious. And that's the Super Carlin Brothers.
Super Carlin Brothers. That was so cool.
I'm not sure if I know anymore how to make a video where I don't just have.
Yeah, it seems hilarious. I'm just looking at it.
But
Yeah, but there's so much.
I like watching, you know, just regular like lifestyle.
Yeah, I like
YouTubers
some of those
and
too.
just gush over how beautiful their homes are.
Yeah.
So there's a whole bunch of different things that you could do. But it really does
the
depend
vlogs too. That's a whole other thing, because he's like, a lot of those vlogs, you're walking with your camera. So
yeah,
you have to have like a good camera and you can do it with your phone as well, but you have to have one of those tripod like selfie
stabilizers.
sticks, almost kind of like, yeah. But that's really interesting. I don't know if I could ever do that. Vlogging.
Someone else.
I'm so sorry for all the questions.
No problem.
Don't be. We have an hour.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you. I came in a little bit late. So where can I find, I'm assuming these will be available to rewatch these.
Yes.
So
Yeah,
where will I be recording, please?
Yep. So this is recording right now, and we're streaming onto Facebook. So it will be on the library Facebook page immediately once this is done, for you to rewatch whenever. Over the next week, we're going to be taking the videos that we did last week and which would be this week, and putting them up on YouTube. So eventually they will be on the I've Squared YouTube channel as well.
Right. Okay. Thank you.
Where are you joining us from, Tony? Are you in New Haven?
She just muted herself.
Oh, sorry. I was talking away.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Sorry. Thank you.
Oh, sorry. We didn't hear you. Where are you joining us from?
I'm actually from the UK.
Oh, wow.
Are you in the UK currently?
Yes.
Oh my gosh, that's so awesome. I'm super excited about that.
Yes. How did you hear about our program?
Someone told me about it, so I just thought, wonderful.
Oh, so good to have you.
Yeah, I'm trying to learn
Yes.
at the very early stages, so it's very inspiring listening to you. You put so much energy and enthusiasm into it, so thank you so much.
Yes, thank you. Thank you.
I'm super excited that we have that much reach. That'll definitely go into my report, my monthly report.
The highlight, right? Yes.
I'm gonna put my email in the chat too. So I'm the manager of I've Squared, which is the department that hosts these programs, and the department that hired Sarasa to be our creative in residence. If there are any programs or projects that you're interested in, feel free to shoot me an email, because I make the schedule. So I can talk to my staff and see if there are other either virtual or hybrid programs that we can do that meet your interests. So I put my personal email on the chat on Facebook. I am going to put the I've Squared email because I don't necessarily need my personal email all over the internet.
Yes. Okay.
Thank
Do we
you.
have any?
Go for that.
Thank you. Any other questions? I'm happy to hear about, what everyone's ideas are and what you plan to work on with your YouTube channel or specific industries. Feel free to write in the chat.
Nothing in the chat. You're welcome, Tony.
You're welcome. You're welcome. I don't know. I feel like I really broke down each session so that it can be like, so we can process it. You know, you take time because YouTube is so huge, right? Or even like just creating video, whether it's for something else, YouTube or anything, it's so involved. There's so many pieces. So I really broke it down so that we can just capture each part and just let it settle in, right? Let it process. So I really hope that the breakout, it works for everyone. And I hope to see some of your videos. I would be so excited to see some of your work.
It would be great if maybe at the end of this, we could all come in and show like one video that we recorded.
Yeah,
I think that would be fun. Well, we could plan that for June.
right. Like an end of year celebration, bring in your YouTube videos. I would love to do like a recording because I actually did a video shoot. Yeah, a video shoot earlier today for something else, and just doing that, I got so many ideas, and I don't know, so much you can do.
Well, if nobody has anything else, I don't think we're getting any more people joining us this late. So, would paying to get video more exposure be a good idea?
Okay, so that's a good question. Starting off, I don't believe in paying for, you know, things really. So much is free, right? However, it depends on what your launch plan is, right? So in my first program, we talked about how we're going to launch, how we're going to get people to come to our channel, you know. So there are different areas or channels for promoting your videos and doing that. Some of them, you know, don't cost much. You can spend $5 to expand your reach, you know, in different areas. So I don't believe in paying right off the bat, but it just depends on what your personal launch plan is and what your budget is. Yeah. You said you feel the same. Yeah. Yeah. Good question.
No, and one of the other things that I keep trying to remind myself, like when I start thinking about doing YouTube videos, is that a lot of people who do YouTube as a career never planned on doing YouTube as a career.
Yeah.
So like now we have these people where that's what they pay for, or like, well, that's how they get paid and how they make their living. But it did not start that way.
Right.
For most people. You have the handful that like left BuzzFeed. Is your video copyright protected? Yes. Your video is copyright protected just because of the way that US copyright law works.
Oh, that's a whole other category.
Yeah, if you want a session on copyright law, I can totally do that for you. Copyright law is something I'm super interested in. So the way that American copyright law works is you create it, it's yours. You can take it down, you can make edits to it. However, things that you use in your video might also be copyright protected, and you need to give attribution to that. So that would be things like music, any sort of graphics. If you didn't design them yourself, all need to have attributions. And if you're posting, say, a clip of somebody else's video, there's a lot of rules around fair use that are extremely important. So basically, fair use is for educational settings or for commentary. So if you're doing like a commentary of the new Disney movie, you're not going to want to play the whole movie because Disney will take it down so fast it's not even funny. They have all of that kind of money. So you want to play like little clips and then have it mostly be you talking. Then what you have is copyrighted. And it's yours and it's for commentary and fair use and it's fine. But if you were to play the whole Disney movie and just talk over it, Disney will be able to file a copyright strike against you very quickly and very easily. And because Disney has a lot of money, it's not worth fighting them on it. Some video clips will allow you to use. What do you mean by that? Like, is it what video clips? Oh, so how long is considered fair use? That really does depend on what you're using it for. When I was doing my copyright law classes, I was told to be safe, do no more than 10 to 15 seconds. Usually you'll be safe at that point, but someone can, they have bots that troll all of these and say, oh, that's something that's mine, I'm going to file a claim. So you're asking about how long copyright lasts. That changes. So I can look up current copyright law. US video. I believe that it is 70 years after the death of the creator.
That sounds about right. Yeah.
However, again, Disney makes things difficult. So when Mickey Mouse or Steamboat Willie originally was coming up to be in the public domain, Disney basically changed the copyright laws, paid a lot of money to a lot of people to change the copyright laws. So it does sometimes depend, and it's different for written works versus video, but I'm pretty sure it's 70 years after the death. And I'm not finding it on Wikipedia, not that I should use Wikipedia because I'm
yes.
Copyright.gov. There we go. Copyright law. So what I am looking at right now, I can share my screen because I can. Let me find my screen. I'm just going to share this so that you guys can see. So this is copyright.gov, which is the US Copyright Office. So if you ever have any questions about copyright, this is where you can find all of the information. It's a government organization, obviously, and they handle all of the law for copyright of the United States. Also, copyright in different countries is not necessarily the same as the United States. So it's something to be aware of. But like, this is the current US copyright law book. It's 478 pages. It's massively long, but I don't know if we can do video. So like Family and Movie Act, sound recordings and music videos. There's a whole chapter on that. Copyright protection, unauthorized use of pre-1972 sound recordings. So there's all of these provisions that you can look at to make sure that you are using whatever it is you're using correctly. Yeah. I hope that helps.
Yeah.
And
think
answers
you should definitely do a program on this. I love this topic too, especially as it relates to fashion. So.
I've always said that if someone would pay for my law degree, I would go to law school.
Me too. I wouldn't go for like just a PhD. I would go to law school.
But specifically for copyright law, because I think it changes quite quickly. So yes. How do I stop share? There we go. Yes, definitely. Great. So I can look into doing an overview of copyright law. I will also contact my old copyright professor from my library degree. He is the copyright lawyer for the New York Public Library, and see if that might be something that he'd be interested in doing a quick overview. Doing a program on the topic should bring a full house. Yeah, you would be surprised how many people don't like to talk about copyright law.
I love it.
But it is important to remember, basically your best bet is to do you and do it all you if possible.
Yeah.
And because as Sarasa had said in the last class, I think it was the last class, it might have been the one before, they have plenty of like royalty free and available music and art. So you would just be looking for Creative Commons with no attribution required. You can use that. And then you can pretty much do whatever you want. If your plan on YouTube is to be someone who does critique, then just be prepared to have that be a battle.
Yeah, that's true. And that's why, even though, these the series is on YouTube, you haven't really seen me go onto YouTube to share any existing content, right? So it's a very sticky topic when it comes to content, that's not yours and how you use it. That's
So
great.
Tony asked where you can find royalty-free music.
So you can find it, YouTube has an audio library, and there are some sites that you can get it for free as well. Just do a Google search and they'll come up. But YouTube has an audio library, it's quite extensive. Different genres, some just instrumental, some have lyrics to it. So yeah, just YouTube audio library. That's my first place to go. And Michael says the library archive has some.
Yeah, music is a hard one. Royalty-free music is going to be your best bet again, because people will. There was something recently, or good example. I'll use a good example. Under Pressure and Ice Ice Baby. Do you know, you're looking at me like I have six heads. So the song Under Pressure by Queen with David Bowie has a very distinctive beginning. And Ice Ice Baby, which was an awful song by Vanilla Ice from when I was a kid, has a very similar beginning. And the estate of Freddie Mercury and Queen like basically took him to court and was like, you have to attribute this to us and give us some of your royalties because you stole this from us. So it's one of those
Yeah,
and that happens all
it
the
happens.
time.
Yeah,
It's like, how close is this to something else?
Yeah,
but like classical piano music and stuff like that mostly is in the public domain if you can play it yourself. Like the music itself
Right.
is public domain. So sorry, I get really excited about
We're
that.
covering a lot here.
I'm gonna make a note to myself to plan a
That's
copyright law
great.
class.
Yes. Awesome. Awesome. Now I have that song in my head, Jennifer.
Sorry. Ice Ice Baby or Under Pressure?
Ice Baby.
I'm a huge Queen fan, so
yeah.
When Ice Ice Baby comes on, I get really excited for about 3 seconds and then get really disappointed.
Yeah.
So does anybody else have any other questions before I keep rambling on? The National Library Archive. Do you mean the Internet Archive? Because the Internet Archive. Okay, so the Internet Archive is not actually anything from the government, just so you know. And there are things on the Internet Archive that some people would say actually do fall under copyright. So I would be careful with that. there, like things like LibriVox, which you can get through the archive, which is people reading, they're essentially audiobooks, but all the books are already in the public domain. So you just have to be careful. Sometimes you will find things that are not actually public, in the public domain. So it would really depend on what you're looking for. So they say it's free, that because it's free to you, but there was a lot of complaints, especially at the beginning of COVID, about the Internet Archive hosting digital media that was not actually free to the public. So
Yeah.
doesn't mean it's not a great source for other things. It has a really great collection of very old manuscripts that you can have in a PDF, which is cool.
Okay. Any more random facts you have for us, Jennifer?
Random facts? What kind of random facts do you want?
I don't know. You have so much in that brain.
Are you? I don't know. I mean, like, if you want random facts, a
Yes.
sloth is most vulnerable when it's going poop.
When it's,
pooping.
oh my gosh.
It's one of the few times
That's
it's on the
red.
ground.
Yeah, that says red.
I have really random facts. You're welcome, Michael. Sorry, we're just having fun now.
It's Friday, right? What
It
can you
is
do?
Friday, and I'm taking a
Mhm.
long weekend. So,
Oh, good for you.
oh, I'm just gonna be tired. It's gonna be
Well,
going to see one of my other favorite musicians in concert.
oh, right. Did say
So
that. Enjoy, definitely.
you're welcome, Tony, anytime. And if you feel like visiting us in the States, I would be happy to host you. I have a number of friends who live in the UK, so I enjoy visiting there as well.
Oh. Alrighty.
Alrighty. So I'm going to stop the live stream.
Okay.
Bye, everyone on Facebook land.
Bye. Have a good weekend.
All right, we're done recording.